Going in 10 seconds. Stand by, everybody.
You're at the 5 seconds.
4, 3. So 5 seconds of chat.
Of chat, first of all. All right. I'm just going to talk to you about absolute nothing for 5 seconds. So if you just look at me, and that's right, that's okay.
Right.
And now...
I can't get over Sir John Gilbert looming over your shoulder.
His left ear is being pinned on you.
What's he supposed to be?
I can't see, hang on. I don't know what he's supposed to be, a Hitler Youth or something?
I don't know. He looks like the fireman on the Bluebell Railway, doesn't he, really?
Yes, I think we forget about John Gielgud for the moment, because I want to talk to you about this book.
Right.
Because you've got to help me with this book, Spike.
Yes, I will, yes.
Is it a real book, a true book, or is it a fantasy book?
Not a fantasy, you know. What I did was I juggled timescales, and I made somebody play other people's lives. Well, all these people actually existed on a different time scale, but I put it in a chronological order so it makes sense.
It makes sense. I'll get there. I will get there in the end. But why didn't you just simply tell the story of your family? Why didn't you start off from year dot and move on to that time? Why did you have to mix it up with fantasy?
Well, it would have been such a massive effort. It had been about 4 volumes, and I wasn't into that. I wanted to write one quick book, which I did, and I wanted to write it in memory of my family, who were very nice to me when I was young.
Were they?
Yes, sir.
Because your mother lived to be 97 years old, and just inside here it says that she came back to Britain after your father died, tragically, and then she fell ill, and then you, I presume...
I died.
Then you died?
Yeah, which makes me a remarkable author.
It does, doesn't it? Well, why have you told a lie here and said that you went off to a Dickensian children's home in the country?
It's fantasy. I have said so at the beginning of the book, that a lot of this is fantasized at the end. The basic story of the personality of Bombardier and Elizabeth Sparrow are very much my mother and father. Except I put them a generation earlier. Yeah.
What did your mother think of it? Did she see the proof of the book before she died?
Well, she can't think of it. She's dead, you see. Well, I think she's dead. They buried her. So it's pretty final to me.
So she didn't see it, but she gave you her diaries, didn't she?
She gave me the diaries, yes, which I copied from you, which are very, very useful, yeah.
That must
but I think I had peculiar mum and dad, you see. They were abnormal. My father woke me up at 3 in the morning and said to me, "I've never shot a tiger." And I said, "Why? Tell me." He said, "I've got to tell somebody." I said, "Why 3 o'clock in the morning?" He said, "Well, it's quiet now." And my mother very liked buying curios at the Phillips's auctions. And one of this came under the thing of was the sale of Nelson's glass eye. And she said, "It must be looking for a buyer." So I thought everybody was like this.
So no wonder you're like this. No wonder you're this kind of mix of whatever.
Mix of yes, yes.
Yeah. I mean, do you ever think you're more like your mum than your dad?
Well, I look in the mirror, I look like my dad. With a skirt on, I look like my mother. Yeah.
I'm sorry to laugh, but how did your father die? You said he died tragically. Did you remember the death?
She's sorry to laugh at me. There goes my career in a nutshell. No, he died of a stroke. It was a stroke of luck for my mother because the insurance was marvellous.
And how old were you when he died?
I was about 64. He was older than me, yeah.
And what was a young man...
If I lived at his age, I'd have died as well.
You would?
Yes, yeah.
What was a young man of 64 years old doing then in India at that time? And what did you get up to then?
This wasn't in India. He died in Woy Woy.
Where was that?
Woy Woy in Australia. Yes.
And what was he doing in Australia?
Dying.
But before he died, what was he doing there?
He was a soldier in the British Army.
Was he?
Yes.
And you didn't fancy becoming a bombardier sparrow either, or a bombardier
Milligan? No, I
Milligan?
was bombardier in the last war, yes.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
There was a hole in my sleeve, and I sewed a stripe over it to cover the hole. That's how I got promoted, yeah.
And then you've written all
I
these...
went on making holes.
You did?
Although I got 3 stripes, I was a sergeant, yeah.
Well, that's how you do it, is it, in the army?
That's how you do it, yes.
You've written another book, haven't you, that you just delivered to your publishers. It's all about your war memoirs.
Yes, it was a cesarean delivery, actually, this one was, yeah.
Was it?
Very quick,
Was it painful, though? Did you labour heavily over all your writing?
Why are you persecuting me like this?
I know, you're sitting back in your chair and you're getting further and further away from me. I don't frighten you that much, do I?
No, I just wanted to write this book very quickly. Hilaire Belloc wrote 10,000 words in a day. He went through the streets of Paris saying, "I've written 10,000 words." Well, I wrote 10,000 words one day, and I went to the streets of Paris saying, "I've written 10,000 words."
Were you proud of the fact? I mean, were you really, when you started to write for the first time?
Well, I didn't go shouting in the streets of Rome because not many people would write. But I did write 10,000 words in a day, which is a record.
So how many thousand
Coming
words?
out as a record, that's right.
So how many thousand words have you written in your lifetime?
Oh, God, millions.
You feel the need to put it down on paper. Why do you do that?
It's a living, yeah. You've heard of it. A lot of people are doing it these days.
It's a heck of a living. You've got to travel around the country promoting it, though, haven't you? Getting on trains and getting to new places and meeting new people and being Spike Milligan, being funny or not being funny.
I don't get on trains. The last train I got onto at Ashford ended up in the cleaning sheds at Dover. I said to me, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Rye. He said, no, this bloody train you're not.
To come back to your life and your work and your everything else, I hear you're going to...
My everything else.
Yeah, everything else.
Stay tuned for that bit, folks.
Yes, well, wearing those dark, racy glasses that you have on, I mean, it's you open yourself to everything, don't you, Spike, really? Strange people coming up to you.
Bronchitis. Oh, yes.
Bronchitis?
Yeah,
Oh, don't do this to me. No, you're in pantomime.
yeah.
What are you playing in pantomime?
I'm playing Baron Hardup.
You are.
I was cast by my bank manager.
And who's Baroness Hardup?
There isn't one, you know.
Just on your own?
I'm on my own as Baron Hardup, yes.
Where are we going to see this Baron Hardup then?
It's Tunbridge Wells Assembly Hall. Yes.
A lot of hard work for you. I mean, aren't you too old for that?
We're trying to build the place.
Aren't you getting a little touch, not too old, but you've done that before, you've seen that, you've bought the T-shirt. Isn't it enough for you? Why don't you go and rest?
You saw the T-shirt, did you say?
I mean, it's a kind of phrase you use these days to say, you know, you've done that, seen that, bought the T-shirt.
Bought the T-shirt, I see. I really am out of date. This is, yeah. I just do the show because they asked me to do it. That's the only reason, no other reason. No,
Do you do any press-ups or any exercises to
no,
get
I
into shape?
swim 50 lengths in my pool every morning.
So you are in shape. Yes, you look in shape, don't you?
Yes, yes.
So you're getting there.
It's all, yes. I'm getting there.
Spike.
Getting there, me. I'm Lisa's it.
Spike, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. That'll be £1.
Oh, in that case, can I have £1, please? Neville, you're the guy for £1. Big deep.
His hand stuck in his pocket. Blue figures.
You were very, very good. Thank you.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Past the time.
Thank you. Past the time?
It passed the time.
It did. Is that all?
About that when you buy it, yes.